Okay, so you've decided you want to get a Shih Tzu dog. You can look on the internet, you can read books, you can ask people's opinions, but I think it's always really great to actually meet one and spend time with one. So this is Pebbles. She is 6.5 and she is a Shih Tzu dog. She weighs about just over 7 kilos. She is stubborn, strong-willed, cute, and I love her to pieces. But I'm going to tell you exactly what owning a Shih Tzu is really like. So if you're going to get one for the first time, stick around. I've had 2 Shih Tzus in my life. The first one was called Molly, and she was very, very similar in temperament to this one. And I think, if anything, she was slightly calmer. But I think when you look at Pebbles now, dozing her way through the afternoon, it would be easy to think that this is the dog that, you know, of your dreams, really. She's just going to lie there and behave herself and do everything she's supposed to do. But actually, they don't. They are one of the most difficult dogs that you can have if you want to train them. They will do anything for food, but if they don't want to do something, then you're in for a long wait. They make the most wonderful, wonderful companions. So they're absolutely ideal if you are at home a lot of the day or you work from home. They are a very, very, very big no-no for anyone who works long hours. It is absolutely cruel to get one of these dogs if you're somebody who is at work for more than 3 to 4 hours a day. They really do not like to be left. They can be quite destructive if they're left. They certainly endure enormous stress. So whilst it's important when they're puppies that they do learn to be left alone, the nature of the breed is such that they want to be with you. They are companion dogs, and it's really important that you understand that before you make that decision to actually to get one, because one of their redeeming features is that they are just so cute. They really are very cute dogs, and they look cute, and it's so easy to be tempted to say, well, I'll get one of these dogs because it'll be easy. Well, if you want an easier dog, then this is not for you. They live they live on average between 9 and 17 years. So that's a big difference. You could be getting a dog today that you're going to have for 1.5 decades. And over that period of time, you're going to fall in love with them. So one of the most important things, I think, about getting them is to just really understand the kind of dog that they are. They love human company, and they particularly love the company of a very well-behaved cat. Now, I've always had Persian cat, and the Persian cat I've got at the moment is called Mr. President, and you'll see from a quick scan of my camera that he is the other side of the sofa, and they can quite often be found cuddled up together. So this is Mr. President. He's also chilling the afternoon away. One thing I would say about Mr. President is that he is an awful lot easier to look after than Pebbles. So what do you need to do for Pebbles to keep her happy? Well, first of all, they do need some exercise, not a tremendous amount of exercise. You know, you're talking about half an hour, perhaps a couple of times a day at the most is more than enough. They have very little legs, so you don't want to wear them out. But on the other hand, you want to keep them trim. Ideally, you'll have to feed them, I would say, once they're not puppies anymore. So this will be a grown-up Shih Tzu. They need feeding a couple of times a day rather than one meal, because it's better for their digestion, and it's better because it prevents them from getting illnesses associated with eating too quickly or eating large meals. They will need regular grooming, and by that I mean every single day you will have to comb them, wash their face, and keep them generally knot free. And almost certainly you will need to allow about £35 every 5 to 6 weeks to take them to the groomers. The first dog we had, we used to do her ourselves, but I have to say that it isn't easy unless you've actually been trained. So you will have to allow that, and it isn't a get off the hook type of situation. You will have to allocate some time to keeping that coat knot free in between visits. Generally speaking, they are very friendly dogs, and as long as you socialize them well when they're puppies, by taking them to puppy parties at the vets, or taking them out on walks to meet other dogs, and generally very friendly, and you don't usually have any problems with aggression in them. They are very, very easygoing and friendly dogs. However, I think it's true to say that they are stubborn. So one of the most important things I've learned over time is that if you're going to let them off the lead in a park situation, for example, be very, very careful. They are known not to come back if something distracts them. And of course, in a large number of dogs playing in a park all together, they can become injured because they are very small. Although they're very sturdy, stocky type of dogs, they can come off worse in a fight. If there were two dogs fighting or something like that, they could be injured just because in some kind of rough play they get in the wrong place at the wrong time. So although I have let Pebbles off the lead in the past, I wouldn't recommend doing so in general. I think they are safer on the lead, but certainly I think to just be a little bit mindful of the fact that they are prone to wandering off if something distracts them, and especially near busy roads and things like that, it's not a good idea. You will notice from there, you can't really see at the moment because she's shattered and falling off the sofa, but they do have quite bulging eyes, and a little bit like Cavalier King Charles Spaniels and one or two other breeds. You will have to be careful, because if you let them off in the garden and there's an awful lot of spiky foliage and things down at ground level, they can end up with quite bad eye injuries. So again, just be a little bit careful with them. They are at that sort of height where they can collide with all sorts of things and end up with quite serious eye injuries. They are very stocky little dogs. I mean, you know, when we first got this breed, I think my husband was sort of thinking, oh gosh, you know, they're going to be a very thin dog. They're not. They're quite sturdy dogs, and they're quite, if you pick them up, they're like little puddings. But they are prone to arthritis because obviously they only have little legs. So try not to let them jump off the bed or things like that. Try and keep them, you know, from injuring themselves. Would I say they're a great dog to have? Absolutely. If you're at home for many hours of the day, they are the best companion you'll find anywhere. I mean, really and truly, this is the breed that I think is absolutely wonderful. I mean, if anything was to happen to her, I don't think it would be more than a few weeks before I would have to get another one, just because of the pure joy that they are. So I think really the most important thing is to ask yourself the question, are you at home a lot? Are you prepared for a stubborn nature? Are you prepared for regular grooming? And are you prepared to devote a lot of time to them? They're very, very intelligent animals. They are not the kind of dog that you would ignore. They're not going to let you. They are far too intelligent. They're demanding little dogs. They're characters. They're loving, but they're attention seeking. They have a will of their own, which is really quite unbelievable. But the reward you'll get for having one is unbelievable. They are so loving and so charismatic. You'll walk through the door, the tail will wag, and you'll be the most popular person in the world for at least 10 minutes while they race around the sofa. So yeah, I love the breed. I could never imagine life without one. She's my pride and joy. But I would say to anyone, just make sure you understand the level of commitment that you're getting into. And really the most important thing is, do not leave these dogs on their own for more than 3 or 4 hours a day. It is cruel. It's not the kind of dog they are. They're not self-sufficient. They want to be with you. They want to be doing everything you're doing. And so it is a big commitment, but it's one that personally I think if you can satisfy all the criteria, then I would recommend them. And certainly she brightens every single day, as did our last one. So I think those are the most important things. You know, give yourself time, make sure you've got plenty of time, make sure you can afford the groomer, make sure you understand the level of commitment, the number of years it's going to be, and the fact that you will have to commit to daily brushing, and you're going to be sharing your home with someone who's got a pretty good mind of her own. So be prepared for that. Make sure you try and train them, definitely, but be prepared that the word stubborn may well come into your vocabulary every single day you own them.